All right, Jake Paul versus Nate Diaz is on. Yes, that is correct. The news just broke this morning. Nate Diaz will be taking on Jake Paul in Dallas, Texas, August 5th, not long away. So, listen, everyone's talking about this. It is big news, and I'm very, very interested in it. Bit of history, as we know, last time out, Jake Paul lost his perfect, shiny, undefeated record when he went up against Tommy Fury. Now, he had a lot of reasons afterwards why he lost the fight. Reasons, excuses. He wasn't well. He had the flu. It was an off night. He fought a better boxer. That would be the reality of the situation. Tommy Fury was the better boxer. Granted, Jake caught him with a shot. You know, he went down, and I think that Tommy slipped, to be fair. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It was an entertaining fight, monetarily, business-wise. Very, very successful for both men. But now he's going up, and he's boxing Nate Diaz. And this is the one that everyone's been waiting for. Nate Diaz left the UFC quite some time ago. He's been a free agent for a while. And, of course, he has his own fight promotion now as well. And he's been talking about taking on some big fights, and this was the one, Jake Paul. We were wondering why this wasn't happening, but still, here it is, August 5th, not that long away at all. And this will be sure to bring in lots of eyeballs. And listen, I'm happy for Nate Diaz. I hope he earns an absolute shit ton of money out of this one, and there's a very good chance because they're going into this one as 50-50 promoters. Of course, we have the most valuable promotions, MVP, and we also have Diaz's Real Fight Incorporated. So fair play. Diaz will go out there. He'll be a 50-50 promoter. So he's going to get a 50-50 split on all of this, on the TV deals, on the gate, and all the stuff, the sponsors, the lot. So well done to Diaz. That should be an insane payday for Nate Diaz. So well done. I'm very, very happy for him. Now, of course, we had some statements when the news just broke. Jake Paul came out and he said this: "My last fight didn't go the way I wanted, but the result was the best thing that could have happened to my professional boxing aspirations. Now, the world thinks that I am vulnerable, when all I am is more focused than ever. My team wanted me to take an easy fight like KSI next, but that's not how I'm built. Nate Diaz is considered one of the most badass fighters of all time, but he and his team have been running their mouths for too long." All right, let's just dissect that real quick. The last fight did not go the way he wanted to, and it was not the best thing that could have happened to his boxing career. Granted, you do learn more from your losses than what you do your victories, but he's not talking about that. He's saying, listen, everyone just thinks I'm vulnerable. Well, you were clearly shown that when you first went up against a professional boxer, remember, the first time, not a basketballer, not a wrestler, not a past his prime MMA guy, right? This was a boxer who was young, who was a novice boxer, and you got beat fair and square. So, yeah, you are more vulnerable, right? But it's not the best thing that happened to your career. And now you're saying your team wanted you to take an easy fight like KSI. Well, yeah, that would be the natural thing to do because you are a YouTuber yourself. Go and fight KSI. Make a shit ton of money. You know, and I'm not hating. It's just all this talk about taking on Canelo and being one of the greatest boxers that ever lived.
You want payday? I know that.
He stepped up against Tommy and he got his ass kicked. Let's be honest. Or maybe not kicked. He got beat fair and bloody square, though. Let's be honest. But still, Nate Diaz, this will be a fun fight. Nate Diaz is no walk in the park. Very, very tough. Extremely hard to finish. Granted, he's not a boxer. He's almost 40 years old. He's got a great submission game. You can't use that. But the hands of Nate Diaz are good. You cannot deny that. Remember when he shot the world and became a global megastar? When he beat Conor McGregor on short notice? It was round 2. It was a 1-2. Straight down the pipe, wobbled McGregor, turned him into a wrestler, got top position, choked him out.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Against Leon Edwards, okay, the welterweight champion of the world, a man that's defeated Kamaru Usman, who is the welterweight king. He rocked him in round 5. Granted, he was getting beaten, and there's no shame to that. He was getting beaten by the champion of the world, who wasn't the champ at the time. But this is what I'm saying. This is my point. Diaz is hard to put away because even though Leon was clearly winning, in round 5, again, a huge straight punch caught Leon Edwards and kind of had him wobbled all over the place. And Diaz loves that. He says that he's still the welterweight king to this day. Tweeted that just recently. So fair play to him. And Diaz came out and he said this: listen, besides Canelo, I'm the biggest thing in boxing. I'm here to conquer that. I'm the king of combat sports, and then I'm headed back to get my UFC belts. I effed up Conor for acting out, and here I am again, like a superhero of the real fight game, the king of the real fight game. So, He's saying that Jake Paul, besides Canelo, is the biggest thing in boxing. I understand Diaz saying that, of course. He's trying to promote the fight. He's trying to hype it, you know. And Jake Paul is very, very well known. But in terms of the biggest thing in boxing, besides Canelo, that is not an accurate statement whatsoever. There's many great fighters out there. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. They're just 3 heavyweights off the top of my dome. The list goes on. There's so many, okay? But still, I understand it. They're trying to hype the fight, okay? Now, this goes down soon, August 5th. Not much time there. Now, this goes down pretty soon. It's going to be interesting to see what weight that these guys fight at because got to remember, Nate Diaz spent a lot of his time fighting at 155 pounds. As he got a little older and didn't want to do the weight cuts, he fought at 170. He had some good performances. He had some big losses as well. But he did have a fight against the champion of the world. And, you know, he lost that fight. But as I said, he did rock him in round 5. The point I bring this up for is, what weight will this be contested at? As we know, Jake Paul's a much bigger man. He's fought as high as 191 pounds. He weighed in at 183.6 when he fought Tommy Fury. So, listen, I'm not hating on Jake Paul, but this is the pattern. This is the flow. It's an almost 40 non-boxer. It's a guy that's a submission specialist with decent hands, and he's much smaller. Listen, Diaz is very tall. He's not a small man by any stretch of the imagination, but he did fight the majority of his career as a lightweight. Okay, so it is going to be very interesting to see how this goes down. Now, it is interesting. If you look at Diaz's statement, of course, he said that he's the biggest thing besides Canelo. He said that he's here to beat Jake Paul. But he said, I'm here. After he's beaten Jake, he's headed back to get his UFC belts. So is he saying now that after Jake Paul, he's going to go back to the UFC and try and re-sign? I mean, that would be phenomenal. I mean, that is big news to me. I mean, I would absolutely welcome that all day long. And I'm sure mixed martial arts fans all over the world would love that. But if he goes out and he beats Jake Paul, there might be other options in the boxing world. There's a KSI out there. You know, and there's other YouTubers and wannabes and all the rest of it. And I'm sure with Nate Diaz's star power that he has and his real fighting ability and the attitude and the fan base that he has, you never know. You might see him test his talents against some real boxers as well. So that would be interesting. I would love to see that. But there it is. There's some breaking news. Jake Paul is back in action, not rematching Tommy Fury, not paying John Fury the money that he's owed. No, he's going up against Nate Diaz, Dallas, Texas, August 5th. And I'll tell you what, I'm having a laugh. I'm taking the piss a little bit out of Jake because, you know, that's what you got to do. But fair play to him. Fair play to both men. This will be a great fight. I look forward to watching it. August 5th, Dallas, Texas. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Listen, Jake Paul attracts eyes. So does Nate Diaz. You put them together. They're both exciting fighters as well. Listen, I'm not criticizing Jake too much. I know I poke a bit of fun and all the rest of it, but he kind of asks for it. But he shows up, he fights, he brings it. He's got knockout power. He's young, he's hungry, and he wants to be respected. And that I respect and I commend. Nate Diaz, we know all about him. The man's a legend. So, Nate Diaz, Jake Paul, let's go. I can't wait for that one. Subscribe, ring the bell. I'll see you soon.